So I want to talk about something, a verse I came across today, 2 Timothy 3:13, and I want to talk about why sometimes the Lord will separate you, right? God will separate you. So you may not be, you may be a chosen one, as they say, right? Or and and you may be into the occult, right? And different things, right? So, or you may be considered a black sheep. Call it what you want, right? You may have this feeling you see sometimes, and you may say, well, why am I attracted to these things, right? And you say, well, these things seem good. Why would that make me a pariah? You see, I'm attracted to certain things, and they seem to be good. They seem to be making me better. But at the same time, these things are making me better, and these things that seem to be good, or I'm attracted to, it seems to separate me from people around me. You see, and you're gonna come to a crossroad. You say, well, you either give these things up, you see, and you go back. See, you go back into, I guess, no, what is considered normal life. You see, or you go deeper. You see, you have a choice. You give up your pursuit. Like me, I like the occult. You give up your pursuit of the occult. You see, you give that up, and you go the hidden meanings of the Bible, so to speak, right? And you give up your dedication to a pursuit, right? A passionate pursuit of wisdom and knowledge, right? Reminds me of the line in Avengers where Thanos and Tony and Iron Man were fighting, and Thanos said, "You're like me, Stark. You've been cursed with knowledge." And Tony Stark said, "My only curse is you." You see, so you feel as sometimes you've been cursed with knowledge. You see, because you have a love of wisdom and knowledge, right? And so it becomes a curse upon you. You see, because you have to make a choice once you know something. Do you go, as the old saying says, go for what you know? Do you go for what you know, or do you follow the pack? Because as you go for what you know, and you follow that, it's going to separate you from everything you've ever known, right? Not necessarily physically, but spiritually and emotionally, and eventually physically. You see, particularly if you have a zeal for wisdom, and you know, so then, so what happens is you have to make a choice, a hard choice, because you'll start to repel people, and you'll find yourself alone, right? And when you find yourself alone, you see, then come, the dilemma. You see, do you go back, or do you keep going? You see, which one is it? Do you go forward into the occult, what's hidden, right? Or do you go back into, basically, do you just put your house, go, there's the flock of sheep over there with their head down eating sheeple grass. Do you run back to them so that you can be a part of the flock, right? Cast off everything and stick your head into the sheeple grass and try to be like them? Which one is it? You see? There's going to come a split in the road, a crossroads, as they say, right? And if you decide not to go back, there's going to be a very tough road ahead. But what I will say is highly enriched, empowering, enriching, enriching, right? Empowering, I think is what I want to say. It will be a very empowering path, spiritually, right? And even emotionally and spiritually, you become stronger. You see, psychically, you become stronger. If you're in the pursuit of psychic, the cities, as the Indians say, right? Or the psychic, you see. As you move into these things, you'll become stronger. Why? Because the herd, they don't believe in the occult. They don't deal with the occult. They don't deal with what's hidden. They don't care about it, right? And the more that you have a love for wisdom, a love for the occult, and you dedicate yourself to that, and you start to become one with that, and you say, listen, I'm not going to get off the path. See, a yogi is one that is on the path, you see. A bodhisattva is one that has gotten to the path, stayed on the path, went into enlightenment, and decided to come back to help the other people. You see, a bodhisattva is just a yogi who has went up a level. You see, and come back, right? And yoga is union, is unification, mind, body, spirit. You see, and that's a whole nother. That's not what this is about. But so you'll get on the path and then you'll just keep going. But that path comes with separation, and as you become a bodhisattva, you have to make a choice. Do you keep going, or do you come back for the people? Do you say anything, come back and say something to the people? Or do you let them, right, be deceived? Because when you say something to them, please understand, you will separate yourself from them. The minute you say something to them, you'll begin to start to create a schism. You see? And that separation, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Can you handle it? Can you handle what comes with it? Right? Because the minute, see, people, human psychology, we got to get into human psychology, right? People only respond to you positively if you tell them stuff like, you're a good person, you're never wrong, wow, you're right about everything, etc., etc. They respond to that. The minute you start to break with them is the minute they become your enemy. As the Bible says, am I your enemy because I now have told you the truth? So you're going to start to make enemies of everybody around you, your family, your friends, the people at work. So you have to learn how to, like, at work, be very deceptive, right? You have to be very cool at work. I mean, because you got to make money to pay your bills. So generally at work, places like work, you have to be very deceptive, very cool, as they say, right? Very clever. Keep your distance from people, right? Because if you say the wrong, if you say the truth, the quiet part out loud at work, then not only will they separate from you, you'll get fired. You see, and you got to make money because you got to pay your bills. So it's one thing to be alone. It's another thing to be broken alone. I don't condone being broken alone. So I would just recommend certain things, certain places. You keep certain things to yourself. And it's hard for me because, just even a basic truth. Like if somebody mistreats you at work, just a basic truth saying, hey, listen, you're not being fair. See? That's a basic truth. And you're standing up for yourself. Sure, you may be right. But will you make enemies? Of course. Will it probably get you fired? Of course. So it's good to, one, learn to work for yourself as much and become as independent as possible. Hopefully independently wealthy. I recommend that. I do not condone being broken alone. Right? I don't. There's no, you know, no, what they call aestheticism. Right? Not having, you know, just because you are, a wise, chosen, whatever. Right? And people doesn't mean you should be like, you know, a nomad walking in, in the dirt in the desert, living in the desert in a cave or something, right? Like, no, no, I don't say that that's part of that, right? You can if you want, but that's not part of it. So, I would recommend that, but you will be. So you have to understand. But my point is, you will have to understand that as you go down a certain path, you will start to be alone more and more, right? And it will create problems for you. And so you have to just understand, how to handle those things. Don't try to save the world. Save yourself first, right? Meaning, figure out how to use whatever occult knowledge and wisdom you gain, experience, to take care of yourself and to prosper and become more independent, because you're going to need it if you want to go down that path. Because people will reject you. People will reject the truth. You see? And so you have to understand that. Right? And you have to prepare yourself. You have to kind of like build, fortify yourself against that. You see? I walked away from many, many, many well-paying jobs and companies where I could have, become like upper management jobs and different things, because I just couldn't take it. Like spiritually, like I couldn't take the shit that was going on these jobs. So many wicked, evil people, and that spirit all around you. You sitting around with like 10 spirits at a meeting, all wicked as hell, and you can just feel the energy popping off of them, right? And they know that you're not like them. I don't care how much you smile, how much shit you take from them, how much you shine their shoes. It doesn't matter, right? What you look like, they know that you're not like them, right? And eventually, and they come for you, and they're gonna come for you. It's just a matter of time. They're gonna try to wear you down. You see. So if you can become independently wealthy, work independently, different things, the more you can do that, the better spiritually it will be for you. Because they will drain you and destroy you, right? It's like Alan Watts said one time in a lecture, right? Their attitude is, I'll kill you, or I'll cause you to kill yourself. And you have to remember that about these people that you're dealing with. Their attitude is, see, the spirit of the Antichrist, and their attitude is, I'll kill you or I'll cause you to kill yourself. Right? And so that's what the kind of people that you're dealing with. They want to put the kind of pressure on you to say, well, we didn't do it. We didn't put the gun to his head and kill him. Right? He killed himself. We didn't do it, but they did do it. You see? The things that they put you through, they knew what it would probably lead to. They was hoping that the isolation and the desolation and the deceit, right? And all of the different things would cause you to break down and kill yourself. And you have to get through that, because a lot of times you will kill yourself. You may commit suicide. That's part of the path. That's something people don't talk about or tell you. I'm just going to tell you now, right? So that's a phase of it that you'll have to get through if you feel that you want to go down that path. You may feel, well, I'm following a lot of things that are occult. I'm a yogi, whatever, right? I am right. I want to be a good. I want to be a real person. I want to be a good person, right? I don't want to follow the world. I want to follow truth and wisdom, and wherever it leads me. See, that is the pinnacle of Buddhism. The pinnacle of Buddhism, here's a secret, is to follow wisdom and truth wherever it leads you. And it may lead you to your death. So you have to be prepared for that. You see? You have to be prepared for that. You see? The Ronin, the samurai, was also a Buddhist, but he was also a warrior. It's not all peace, like they tell you. That's Western falsehoods, like feminism and everything else. So it becomes a lonely path, but a very, very, very empowering path. You see, and it's not easy. And so I said all that, and I wanna talk about this verse before I wrap. You see, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Right. So you have to ask yourself, right? Do you want to just allow yourself to be deceived and go back? You know, like I had my mother. I'm using her for an example. Not like you know her. Anybody knows her. But I'm gonna use her for an example. She had a book in the Bible, a book of Ezra, and I think I was trying to get to this when I skipped over it. But in the book of Ezra, and I noticed I was reading through her Bible. I was just sitting there talking, and me and a couple family members, I'm always curious, so I picked up the Bible. I looked at her book of Ezra, and I noticed it only had 6 pages. And I said, you know, your book of Ezra is missing most of the book. And she said, I don't care. You see, I don't care if it's missing. And I'm thinking to myself, there are many laws, and there's one of the most important prophecies, or the most important prophecy in the Bible is probably in the book of Ezra. So you claim to be a Christian, you claim to be on this path of following Christianity, and you know, you're sticking to these laws and these prophecies, but you don't even know what they are. And then you said you don't care, and I thought to myself, you know, and then when I saw this verse, I thought about her. I said, so you want to allow yourself to be deceived. And see, what it said is that if you allow yourself to be deceived, then you are evil. You see, at a certain level, you are an evil person. And so I was like, wow, I thought about that. And I said, you know, never allow yourself to be deceived. It only is going to lead to evil. You have to understand that. You must understand that, right? Never allow yourself to be deceived, lest you become evil. You see? And you start to become worse and worse. And I don't think anybody ever really expresses that. That's something I never learned. To be honest with you, I never learned that. I never learned. You know, like I would be around people and they would say things like they was getting over on me or whatever. And you know, you see it. I mean, it just happened recently at work. These people like disrespecting me, and I guess they thought they were deceiving me. Tried to give me a bag of candy to cover it up. You know, all kinds of weird shit people do. And I had to realize, like, this is evil. Right? This is evil. People trying to do slight deceptions of you is evil. People giving you a book where the Bible parts of it is missing is a deception. If you allow that, then you are participating in evil. Right? Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Holy Bible. Not thus saith Black Bodhisattva. Right? And if you don't believe the words in the book and don't live by them, then you are a hypocrite. And a hypocrite is the worst thing you can be according to the Most High God. Because a hypocrite can keep no law and keep no prophecy. So God hates all hypocrites, above murderers and everything, and blasphemers and everything. Well, a hypocrite is a blasphemer. You are a hypocrite and a blasphemer, right? Because you deceive people about what's written in the book. You deceive people in daily life. And that's what I realized. I said, these are evil people. And so, and if you don't want to be evil, you want to reinforce your spirit, don't allow people to deceive you. That goes for politicians, that goes for priests, that goes for your family, that goes for your friends. And if you see that you're around people, you talk, like I talk about things, I said, you're being deceived, like my family, I've said, you're being deceived by people like Barack Obama, the Congressional Black Caucuses, these, bureaucrats and different things. Like my brother, I have people, and they'll say, I don't care. Or they'll say, you're wrong. Or they'll say, I don't care. Vote blue no matter who. Whatever, right? And I'm saying, and that is a horrible state, that is an evil state of mind. And then when you look at the state of the black American descendant of slave community in the United States, you understand why they being destroyed. You see? When you allow yourself to be deceived by your wife, by your children, by your family, by your politicians, by your priests, by your people at the school who put up rainbow flags in front of your children, and transsexuals in front of your children, you allow, it doesn't matter, fill in the blanks, and you allow deception, right? You're being seduced by evil, and you're gonna be destroyed in the worst way. You see, it only leads to getting worse and worse. Right? Let's read it and then I'm gonna wrap. Hopefully you get the point. Right? 2 Timothy 3:13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Right? And that's something you must understand. Right? And so if you're a chosen one, if you whatever you want to call it, if you feel isolated just because you want to do better, you want to follow wisdom, you want to follow the truth, science, whatever it is, right? As a Buddhist, we say it's the highest tenet of Buddhism. The number one highest tenet is to follow the truth and reality to its pinnacle. That is a Buddhist. Anything else is bullshit. You see? And it has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with Islam or Christianity, or it's a field of study. It's a set of moral. It's a set of ethics at a certain level, right? A set of rules. It's nothing. It's not a religion. People say Buddhism is a religion. It's not. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Please be quiet. Right? Who is this? The dark of knowledge without wisdom. You're darkening the knowledge without wisdom. You're making things dark. You're destroying people. You're deceiving people. And 2 Timothy said 3, right? So I'm gonna wrap with this. I'm gonna say, do not allow yourself to be deceived. Because if you allow yourself to be deceived by anybody, right? If you deceive yourself, you start to become evil, make yourself evil. You pervert the self. If you deceive others, right, you degenerate and pervert them. You see? And you'll get worse and worse as a people. Do not allow yourself to be deceived. When you going to vote, when you reading the Bible, when you reading a science book, when you talking to your family, when you at work, no matter where you at, don't allow, because why? It leads to evil. You see? It leads to evil. That's the takeaway. But you have to understand, to apply these kind of concepts, right? As a chosen one, as these as you follow this path, as a yogi, or you just say I'm trying to follow, I'm just trying to follow truth, I'm trying to be a good person, whatever, you can say it any way you want to say it. You have to understand this is not going to necessarily lead you into kumbaya with everybody. It's not going to lead you into, it's not going to lead you into into a unit. Yoga is unification, right? But not with people. You have to understand that, right? The unification of yoga, right? The unification of the self into knowledge, wisdom, right? Of unifying the good and bad parts of yourself, you see, and becoming a holy person, a holy man, you see, taking the scumbag and the good parts of you and mixing them, right, and balancing them out. All of that is going to separate you from everything around you, and you have to be prepared for that, or you're going to go into shock. You see, you're going to go. It'll send you into shock, and that kind of thing leads people to suicide, and then it degenerates. You see, and the path is not a degenerating path. The path is a good path. You see, the path to bodhisattva is a noble path. You see, it's almost like the Ronin, the samurai without a master. You see. You start to become the samurai without a master. Why? Because you are the master. You just have to figure that out. You haven't figured it out yet. That's all. Right? And as you go toward mastery, that's going to lead you away from everybody and everything. They're going to fight you. They're going to fight you. You got to know that. Everyone around you will fight you. And so you have to know how to navigate that. You see? And you have to make a choice. Do you go forward toward the light and what's right? Or do you turn back so that you can get a hug from somebody? So that your alcoholic, crazy brother will hug you, or father, or whatever. You can be with them, or your mixed up people in your family will say, this guy's alright, he's at the barbecue with us, right? He's hanging out with us, he's okay, he agrees with everything that goes on. Or he's just silent and just nods and smiles and drinks beers, and he's okay with all of this. This guy's alright. He never says anything's wrong. He goes along with everything that's going on around him. He seems just to be going along with everything. I mean, you could do that. You see? So you have to ask yourself which way you're going to go. Are you going to go along to get along with everybody all the time? Now, like I said, that's good at work where you need a check. But it's not so good in life in general. Because as 2 Timothy 3 says, you will become evil. So you either make a choice. You join them, right? You join you join the evil, you see? Or you take the path of the yogi, as they say. And see, on the path of the yogi, you may come across other yogis, but generally when you look forward and you look back, there will be no one else on the path but you. You got to be prepared for that. If you take the path of the yogi, when you look forward and you look back, there's not going to be, for hundreds and hundreds of miles forward, right? Almost into infinity, and backwards, hundreds and hundreds of miles into the darkness, there will be no one but you. You see, I'm going to leave you with this. Something you have to understand. A true master, right, does not give you a belief. A true master destroys all of your beliefs. So figure that one out. That's all I got.